Call to order. Time is 7:32. Blessing Advisory Board. Today's date is January 22nd, 2024. Do roll call. Miguel Martinez.
Rudy Blanco. Steven Hertzberg.
Francesca Ortega.
We're good, we have quorum.
We have quorum. Well, John said he was gonna be out.
Yeah.
And any word from Angela or Lynn?
Yeah,
Juan said he'll be 11 minutes.
okay. And then Angela, I spoke to him last week, reminding about the meeting, but, not sure.
All right. So item number 3, orders of business, deferrals, additions, deletions.
I just wanted to, so I spoke to Isle to add some things onto the agenda, which are on there. So just so we can discuss it now, as we're aware of why. And also what was there. So one, we have 7F. I spoke about it last meeting. It might be similar to 7E, your item. It's just we should start thinking about a formal new advisory opinion from the board that we should try to get to the board by the next council report, right? I think that's something we should aim for. I think April, right? April?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the next report's in April. And then on this
March.
is it March?
March.
No. Well, because we changed it was November, it came January, so I think March will be too soon, but.
Yeah, all right, we'll talk about it. If not, we could always.
You're also by your report thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
You guys had requested March. Yay, where were you? First time here.
The, right, because it was after,
Tallahassee.
because of Tallahassee.
Right,
It was after, like, because, twice a year, the other one was in November, November was, actually, we were in Tallahassee when you guys. I think so. So we moved to December, December came January.
I mean, either change it or, in the worst case, if we're not ready by March, I don't think we will, because we probably might want to focus any opinion we give based off the outcome of the session.
Right.
We can just ask one of the council members to put us on the agenda for the issue. With that, and then based off the same thing, I think our website needs, the webpage needs some updating since well.
There is sheet.
And then, when we bring up, Senator Garcia resolution, two things. A page of the campaign report from Commissioner Dorado, and also, if we want, especially if anybody hasn't seen it, I sent you a video of Regalato's little, speech, I guess, position on it.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think it's
Was it
important.
a liability for the county?
Well, no, that was Bermuda's, that was.
And Bermuda's too.
Yeah, that was Bermuda's. But no, Regalato's was just like straight out of the miners handbook.
Yeah,
So I want to just, I would think it would be good to play it, just. so we
okay,
have that.
agreed.
Okay. Oh, and last thing is, here's a rough draft of a response, but I had a lot of questions for you.
Okay.
I think it's appropriate to discuss it in the open meeting
Okay,
before we send something out, and maybe we make it more of a formal letter instead of just.
well, I have an item C, so.
Right.
it's never done.
Okay. That's all.
The video you show what?
The for 7C.
I didn't see.
All right. So with that noted then of the modifications that you introduced to the agenda. Going on public comments, item number 4. And then,
I have nothing to report yet. I think the bill was submitted, but then I don't think the committee has met yet. Unless we find out anything, we can.
okay. Sir? Nada.
Well, I want to commend the both of you for your performance at the commissioners' meeting. That was brilliant beyond words. No point intended, but in particular, Steven Hertzberg, when he literally said he was going to quote a previous speaker and went for the famous little guideline that I'm actually writing about. That was very well done. So thank you very much for your sacrifice to be here for 3.5 hours waiting to speak the night before and then attend the meeting. The next morning, and I told to Miguel like around 7, he was already on his way over there. That was,
Yeah.
it's sincerely appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. No,
And the results show it.
Exactly.
any, online?
No.
No adoption of minutes?
The minutes are attached, so if you can take a review, they're a little bit, more lengthy because we had a lot of discussions at that last meeting. So I made sure to put in, I think, it's important discussions that are, important on the record, and then also attached is the response letter, as requested, directly on for the minutes, so make sure that's part of the record.
All right, so that's an item number, so we'll get to, we'll get to that one.
I just need someone to, once you're
I,
done.
I would just accept the minutes.
All right, a second.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item number 6, old business, marketing efforts.
During our last meeting, it was brought to my attention that a couple people would be sent my way. I haven't received anyone new. Have you received anything from anyone with new nominations?
For being worded.
So, as it relates to that, I don't really have any additional updates.
All right, the lady, with the special needs children, it's just 2, not just 1.
Yes, that one I did not reach out to because I wanted to schedule last week, but then I got sick. And because she has special needs, I'm leaving it for this week.
Yeah, I strongly recommend you give her a call. She knows who you are now.
Yeah,
And I was in Miramar, BAB, last week and advised that we're doing this, so if
Okay.
they have anybody.
Is it okay if she sits over there, because she can hardly hear?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I could go there, just,
I should never tell home.
At the council report, I've made a request to the members to provide us anybody they know. So maybe we should reach out back out to them.
Yeah.
And see, because obviously they have a bigger reach.
of course, yeah.
So, we really just need 2 or 3 good
Yeah.
results to make
Right.
this, make what we want. Specifically with the council members and business owners.
Yeah,
I think, 2 residents and business owner would be a nice mix.
perfect, yeah.
So, maybe we'll try to reach out to them again and see if they have anybody in mind.
The pharmacy, speaking of, the pharmacy, next to Sedano's at the Raymond Mall, by the Garden 75,
Oh, uh-huh,
that the pharmacist, the owner, is well versed.
the Rubio one?
Rubio Pharmacy.
Uh-huh.
The pharmacist is the owner and their interior partitions are cracked. And the
Oh.
blast that hits that building like a bomb. So it might be good, I will just show up there.
Okay,
Go over and say, hey, make no more chance.
I've been there before, I just didn't know the pharmacist was the owner, okay.
Yeah. I'm forgetting her name right now, but yes.
Okay.
All right, I did, if you see the report, the council, I absolutely thank you for what you've done and doing. It's appreciated. So be aware, you are publicly, unnoticed. Everybody knows who you are now.
Oh, yay.
So item number 6B, budget. I think Stephen is what you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you added it on, I don't know, or maybe me, but, I just wanted, I see. Wait 1 second, I see the attachments to the,
At the end.
and this looks correct, so this, I would be in agreement that. I think the budget I saw last meeting was slightly higher amount left over, which didn't, which
It
was
wasn't
older.
complete.
Wasn't complete. This is the correct amount, so, I just want to balance with my figures. And the town's figures, and this looks right, the flights and then the two reimbursements. My reimbursement for the hotel and rental car.
I think it's one of them have been shared before things have been, the credit card stuff had been.
Right, exactly. So this looks good. We're in balance. I agree with the number. The spend, and you agree with the number of the. Remaining figure. So 5,121.59 is what's left for future use for this year.
Welcome. That'd be 4,392 then, isn't it?
No, this number is right.
Five, one, two, one.
5,121.59 is right. It
That's
is,
what you would have available, yeah, and then what you spend is under action.
right, correct. Right, it was a little bit, it
Oh,
was like
check.
1,000. I think the two reimbursements were, no, it was the credit card wasn't on there, the flight. So something wasn't on there, but we're good.
Yeah, the one that I had sent to you, remember that you were like, oh, it looks off,
Right.
it's because of that it hadn't posted yet. So
Okay.
now when it's posted, what's this?
All right, so we're in good shape.
No, we're in good shape, so we're fine. And with that, I'll just add that you personally, I added, like a lobbyist, notification onto the bill. Anybody can do it. So the moment if something were to happen with that bill, you get an email
Yeah.
immediately on what's going on with that bill. Anyone can do it. You can go.
I have that too, yeah, I have it.
No, I just did all Representative Felicia's bills, and I sent a news list, but,
And I know.
so I don't know how it works. If when that happens, we might have very little notice, not enough time to note a meeting.
Right.
How that works, and we'll have to just pay for flights or whatever and just go up.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be reimbursable.
I don't know if that's something that can be reimbursed later after fact.
Yeah, you guys can be reimbursed, there just has to be agreement in board for that expense.
So should we make an agreement prior, or could that be agreement later on?
If you do it, I think you should before, to be very clear that the intentions are
So
set.
I would then, maybe we should make a motion. I would make
Yeah.
a motion that the board would approve reimbursements of travel expenses within the prior limit. Let's try to
Yeah.
look at that prior limit. So there's a little bit higher than, come out of pocket. For travel to Tallahassee, last minute travel to Tallahassee, in order to testify, provide comments, or lobby on behalf of the bill upon it going both on the agenda or to the floor.
I second.
I do.
Are you okay taking care of the arrangements?
Yeah, well, once we get noted, I will call you guys and say, here, he's coming, and book everything. I'm happy to
And I welcome.
book it
that.
myself first, and then I just get reimbursed.
Um,
And I'm sorry, on that note, I would just suggest, I guess reminder to all of you to please submit your reimbursement as soon as possible once you guys come back from that. That would help you keep track of your expenses and make sure that they're posted as quickly as possible.
Reminds me of my days at Lucent or Hotel.
Yes,
That's where I know you're from.
there you
No,
go.
I was at
Oh,
Lucent.
oh, very nice. Interesting.
We had to do all that, so.
A pleasure. Wow.
so item 6C, the response to Julie Jones, Tom Gatlin.
Yeah, so I provided here a draft. I'll say it's not pure, completely proofread. So we could probably use some changes, but
AI.
yeah. But I pointed out that we're talking about two completely different blasts, right? That's the first thing. It says, well, I want to talk about this blast, let's start it over, basically. But second, they're trying to take the position that, oh yeah, well, our pilot program seismographs say this, but we don't know about those.
Right.
Who cares what they say? Then were you saying they're not installed correctly? You're saying that we should just ignore them? Or what's your point? And then the point being is the point we've been trying to make is that the blast, how we feel the blast will differ greatly in each blast, depending on where the blast is, how the blast done, where you are, etc. And this proves that, but he's trying to make the opposite point. Like, oh, well, no, that seismograph might just be off. No, this is exactly the point we're trying to make. So either we believe the seismographs that the state fire marshal's office has installed pursuant to the Miami-Dade pilot program, or should we just, or are you just saying no, that's bad data, we're just put that in for fun? The way he contradicts himself a few times,
I think he just needs to choose.
but I don't think the battle really is specifically on you're doing the wrong blast, or like, the battle in this response is you're proving a point.
Right.
This is everything that's wrong with the CFO's office and their inability to come to the table and come to a fair resolution. Is this response? Let's ignore this. This is the only one that matters, but then, oh, those seismographs might not be installed correctly, etc. And so that's where I got there. But I guess my main question to you, before we would put it on paper and send it, is what were the regulations for the installation of the pilot program seismographs? Are they supposed to be installed pursuant to the same administrative code as the seismographs installed on the line?
No, those different things.
Right.
The official seismograph is within 1 mile, at the nearest structure within 1 mile, of the site. The pilot program, they actually had a sit-down meeting and they laid out on a map what would be ideal locations, in a 2D view. They contacted me after that meeting, and I said, doesn't work like that, because what you're looking at is high secured residential communities. You can't just walk in there and drop a thing in there and what you're looking to do. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, this isn't Tallahassee. This isn't acre sites. This is high dense densely populated communities. So that's when then they reached out to me and they said, I said, well, give me areas that you're looking at. And I helped them place in areas that they wanted. It wasn't a specific pinpoint as they were specifying. But that's how the locations came about. The other thing is that the concentration of locations, or the concentration of installations was dependent on the amount of complaints received. So for that reason, although it's across the county wide, all the way to South Dade, 14 of the 23 installed units are around White Rock. That is the reason.
Right.
So, and either way, the machine designed for White Rock can pick up further down, and it's a matter of the propagation and the energy wave and its intensity, obviously. They're very sensitive machines and they pick up these energy waves. So the reason for doing so is it correlates based on time and distance from an occurrence. When each machine receives the wave, they can go by time, the distance. At that distance, you basically lay out a radius, and where all these radiuses intersect was the location of the blast. And that is quantifying, or not quantifying, but solidifying that the accuracy of each machine is referencing the same blast. And it's based on time and speed.
Yeah. Can these devices be interfered with?
Not really, not that I'm aware of.
I guess one of my other questions that I would wanna state, because he's trying, it seems like in his email he's trying to say, well, oh yeah, but those seismographs, they're not to the same standard as our official seismographs. So my question is, the CFO's office is the one who installed the 23 seismographs.
Right.
Are they saying that they didn't install them properly like they would with the official seismograph? That's my question, is I'm not familiar if the statute specifically lays out the requirements, not of the location, but the actual installation, or if it's even that complicated.
It's not that complicated. It's a science, of the accuracy of the machine is based on science, it's not based on legislation.
Right, but is it based on how the machine is installed or placed?
No.
That's right.
No.
That's my question, because
Right.
that's what it seems to be. He's like, no, we can only trust our official. I get it that the administrative code says you can only base enforcement actions off their official readings, but that doesn't mean we should just disregard their own data from their pilot program.
Right.
And I feel like the email from him was trying to put distrust into the pilot program seismographs instead of saying that data is correct. He's trying to say, no, but that data must be wrong.
Right.
That's not. So,
It's irrelevant, right?
right, but that's your own machines that you install control is wrong. That's how we're supposed to then make sure the machines for
Right.
enforcement.
So you're wasting taxpayer money.
Right, and that's the way, so that's where the end of this email, or whatever we decided to gets to, is you're proving our point. Now, can we please come to a resolution and meet again.
um. I wonder, and I respect. To the utmost respect, your writing abilities, but to what extent do we do, to the tone that we write these things, or to become adversarial that. We're not gonna be taken for a ride, which is what you're trying to.
Well, I think that tone is in there, and this is not a friendly tone, this is a tone, this is not a, this is,
Yeah.
like the last one I did, I forgot which one.
Right, to the Miami-Dade.
That one was,
Rhode Island.
that one was probably more friendly in tone in my opinion.
Okay, I haven't read this yet, but.
So I guess what I would do is, let's get this out, so I'd make a motion for everyone to review, come back to file with comments and changes.
Mhm.
I'll incorporate, I guess, what I deem is good and necessary, especially on your side from any science, technical aspect. Make grammar changes and then, let's send it out. That'd be my motion.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we need to get a timeline to get this done quickly. When do you think?
Well, I'll send out a final version by Friday, and then when I send it to you, you can send it out to the board. And if you guys can come back with by that Wednesday or something.
Fair enough.
May I ask a question, just for clarification? It hasn't the problem basically been over all these years that since our legislature is the one that's gonna have to vote on something, and since I guess most of the counties in this country, in the state, don't deal with this issue, they don't pay attention and they're not that interested. What Hope did when she sent all of the contact addresses around. I confess, I as yet have not tried to make contact. I just haven't had the time, but I feel guilty about it. But I know that if you don't make direct contact with these people and try to get them to have a little bit of compassion for those that are suffering, I don't see how they're gonna vote the right way when the bills come up before them. Do you guys have any ideas? How
Yeah, I think there's several layers that you're touching on. And it's what we're trying to peel the onion, if you will. And a big layer is the mystery that nobody wishes to undertake the willpower to learn. So they're just looking at what this guy comes to me with some greenbacks and says, it's like this. Oh, okay. But if you listen and look at the damage and look at the energy, look at physics, go to high school physics class, I mean, look at all the parameters, you'll start putting the pieces together and it will make sense. And that's that part, and it's my humble opinion, everybody's different. So if you have an attorney that has a mindset, if you have a public speaking and marketing person, it's a different mindset. You have a construction person, it's a different mindset. And when you have all these different mindsets, they all focus on what they do and they think everything else is nothing, but they make everything else irrelevant. And that's the dilemma that we're
I
facing.
think that visual part, I'm just speaking as a layperson, it's the visuals that attract you, and it's easy,
Right.
and it hits people right in the face, wow, look at that poor person's house, and maybe all those legislators want to get a few pictures to look at, might help.
The truth is we've sent them. I've sent
You
them,
have sent them.
1,000 of them. And again, I'm writing a response. I've been slammed, and Hope has an email, one of her email threads, with the mayor's cabinet, Mayor Kava's cabinet, that I'm formulating a large response to him. But a big issue is that, or I'm making reference to it, I'm providing it, is a report. When she first became sworn in to office, through a mutual friend, facilitated a meeting with her and me, with all the cabinet members and directors of the county. It was a Zoom call, and I presented. She then directed the chief of the building department, to come and tour the area. He came to my house and he came and he's like, I don't know how you did it, but you went to the top and you got 5 hours of my time. Great. And as we began touring, I realized he doesn't know what he's looking at. Now, this is the building chief, and specializes in construction, but what he knows is construction practice of South Florida. So the biggest condition that exists is muck. Muck is poor soil. In the building code, you have to demuck, you have to remove the soil and fill it back. You have to get to secure strata and refill. It's called lifts, so it's 12 inches at a time, lime rock, where you fill it in, compact until you get to the right elevation point to do your construction. When it's not done properly, and you can attest to this, when it's not done properly, your building will settle because muck is organic material. It's the black topsoil you see, and anything organic has a life cycle. As it dies, it decomposes and takes less volume. So your structure sitting on soil, if it's muck, it'll decompose and settle. So you have a problem. And this is what this gentleman's used to seeing, because it is the condition and problems that we face in South Florida. Seismic damage, we don't have earthquakes here, so he didn't know what he was looking at. I want to say 2 hours in, I realized I'm speaking to a wall. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. So I changed my direction of the tour to educate him, and I brought him to different properties of different ages, even different municipalities. He's like, I don't have jurisdiction here. I'm like, this is just for education. Structure that was 3 years old to 30 years old. And he started seeing the similarities of it, and it's not settlement. It's seismic damage. It's specific. So that education needs to happen. It doesn't. And that is what it's so their ace up their sleeve is what they're doing. Nobody knows about it. Let's run with this.
So you go and say what you have to say, and then the last thing people come in and say, oh, it's just settlement.
Right.
And they-
Exactly, that's exactly it. So to find professionals that are qualified people, many of them are afraid to speak up because it's the influence that they have in their community is so huge. They don't want to be tarnished as their professional livelihood of it. But there are out there professionals that doesn't matter. I will speak the truth. And those are the ones that need to get spoken to and heard of. And until that exercise happens, we keep spinning our wheels.
But you nailed it that for the majority of the representatives and senators in the Florida legislature, they don't care if it doesn't affect their constituents. And that's not how they get votes, right? For some, it's starting to. Even when we met with Rep. Ronald, who's going to be running for state senate, as he turned out, he even said, oh yeah, I'm starting to get some complaints about the blasting. So it's starting to affect different districts as communities go closer towards where the mines are in different areas of the state. But to add, and why we focus so much on the CFO, there is one elected official that could change this with literally his pen, and that's the CFO's office. He just fails to not want to listen to us or anybody else in this matter other than minors. But there's legislative ways to do it, there's potential legal ways to do it, and then there's administrative ways to do it, which the CFO's office could change this with a pen stroke. He just focuses on not doing it, unfortunately.
Right.
So that's why we focus on the CFO's office. Now, if the legislators put in law that says you have to do something, then he's required to.
He's forced to do it.
But right now, he could do it himself if he wants.
All right, so anything else? All right, presentation to council. So as you guys are aware or not, I presented to council. Stephen and Rudy, were there, and so support. It was an interesting meeting.
Yeah, to say the least.
Council meeting, that is.
To say the least.
The presentation went smooth, I think.
Yeah, our presentation.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said after listening to the rest of the meeting.
It happens.
But I think it went well. I did request on my own behalf, and one with no disrespect to you, but as the example of to the council, not override the regulation or the rules of one visit to the, to come to the meeting once and give me the opportunity so we can sit down and talk. And it's at your loss. I did it with Francesca. I know her ears were bleeding afterwards, but
Oh, he's a member of the advisory board?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
had.
Juan Sancho.
Oh,
Don't tell the minors.
Yeah.
They'll Google me.
Did they?
No, they probably will.
They're good.
Google, if you Google me, you'll find it. I'm not hard to find.
So I requested them not to do that. That's all I can request. There's requirements kick in once you get sworn in, that there's sunshine law.
Yeah.
That we have to comply with. And prior to that, it allows us to speak openly and whatnot. Once you're sworn in, sunshine law kicks in, the limitations are in place. So there's different reasons for all of this actions. So I mentioned this to you again out of respect,
Yeah.
that if what questions you may have, or whatever, bring them up, you can send them to Isle, so she can email it to the entire board.
Yeah.
And I'll reply and respond as best as I can for you to start taking an understanding of what's happening, because it is complicated.
Yeah.
I also made comment, that the issue of removal, and I made a request to council that to enforce what was previously done, that you missed 3 visits, and it's an automatic removal. Now, I'm not certain it's the reason, but now it's whoever appointed you has to remove you. And it's creating an issue that, that we're having difficulty meeting quorum at times and whatnot. Angel Anetto submitted his resignation, that evening. I guess he was hearing me. And it's understood. People have other things happening and life gets in the way. But when it prevents us from doing our job, then it's a problem. So that's when I had stepped in and.
You're talking about the general meetings, right? Or you're talking about all meetings?
All meetings in general. So if we can't meet quorum, what are we here for?
No, I mean, like, when you guys present to city council.
Oh, no, yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about.
No,
the
our
board.
I'm gonna talk about general,
Our meeting.
the general meetings, like, so say, for example, let's say I can't go to Tallahassee.
No,
No, that's not a meeting.
Yeah, like on there, but just regular meeting, like last meeting, I had a trip booked before I even
Right.
was offered.
No, and you have a window, you have 3 missed visits
Right.
you can do.
Yeah.
No,
No reboots because it's the beginning of the year,
Right.
right?
so there's a window of time that.
Well, what if you're sick, like, let's say.
Excuse absence.
Yeah,
Which is always things. So in the past, there was no, 3 unexcused actions, and help was always unexcused. But unexcused did typically mean work, travel, because at the end of the day, we need a commitment, right? Because quorum is required. But we, again, that's not a requirement right now, so it's not like
Yeah.
the board can't kick people.
I'm also a pastor too, so let's say somebody has a funeral, dies.
Right.
They can wait.
Yeah, yeah, say like, things like that,
But,
I'm saying too much. Hopefully I'll just get like a sign.
So, but those were my asks at the end of the presentation.
Okay, I get where you're coming from,
I think everything was well received with the council. So moving on to item number 7, elections. I guess that's where you take over.
No, you,
No, I'm happy to leave.
we just do it one position by.
All right. so
I have a
every-
question, the city council, was that a required meeting? Cause I just thought it was general, I just thought it was, the general meetings. I didn't realize, I forgot all
No,
about
town
this.
council is my requirement. The same as there's a chair meeting as well, that's my requirement.
I mean, our participation is encouraged.
Right.
Yeah, I got a message from Manny that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's not required, but obviously, it's best, it's good to show, we're a small board, so it's even better for us.
So you want to handle the election?
Yeah, I was watching a few of the past meetings the past few weeks, so I think. So, they're asking nominations, we have to elect even if there's anonymous, so I think we should go, it doesn't matter, we can go from the bottom up. So first is secretary, so first someone has to nominate and then accept the nomination for secretary, so.
I have a question. If I nominate you, but then you have to leave because you know that thing.
No, I am going to leave in August. for sure.
Does that
You
mean
guys
in
will
August
have
we
to
do
have
things?
you'll have to have it on one off elections just for that.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, probably.
okay.
Or we may have to strap them down.
No, I was like, I'm gonna nominate him, so that way.
No,
But my
definitely,
plan.
it's, definitely, and hopefully, no disrespect, hopefully not coming back. But, yeah, that's correct, so.
For the record, I don't want you to win, so
Yeah.
just so you know.
You're not voting.
You know, you guys don't know what
I
that
know.
likes, you don't vote for me.
I will-
So, yeah, I accept the nomination.
Okay.
And then after acceptance, any other nominations to secretary? If none, do we need to call? a
Yeah,
vote? Still gotta call,
Yeah,
but
let's
okay.
vote to make sure.
Everyone vote yes or no, yea or nay?
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah.
Any nays? Okay, so congratulations to me. Next, we need nominations for vice chair. I will nominate Rudy Blanco.
Second that.
And that's-
All in
Accept the
favor?
nomination.
okay. Any votes, all votes in favor?
In favor, yay.
Okay, congratulations. And then for chair.
That's your chance.
I nominate Miguel.
Really?
They can never even go.
I guess not.
Okay, all in favor, any votes in nay?
Oh,
Aye.
Okay.
Same word.
I'll put that in, I'll put everything was unanimous on the record. but
Same
we
word.
have
a
our-
mini round of applause.
So why do you have to resign from the board?
For running for council.
He's running for council.
So during, after the qualifying period. you have to-
He's running for
Well,
council.
this is a very highly technical group. It's a little different than most other groups.
That's just,
So you have-
it's a requirement, yeah.
No conflicts.
I agree with
No
you, but
conflicts.
Hopefully
I agree
the
with you
motion
too,
will
but-
change.
Once you
Yeah.
qualify, you have to, once you qualify, so qualification will be sometime in the end of July, early August, you have to resign from any board positions.
and no council member can be a board member.
Aren't you an attorney as well?
Yes.
Is there something that we can do? I mean, that
Good.
doesn't, it just doesn't make sense.
Should be charter.
No, because it.
But I think it's a
gains
charter.
Incredible knowledge and it's all very highly technical.
I can still sit right there. and-
Yes, he will be, we're gonna drag him by his.
Maybe-
Oh, absolutely, I will make sure.
I've seen Raymond Garcia try, who's our council.
Yeah, Raymond was on the board previously.
Raymond was on the board
He had
previously.
Came a few times.
He had to, yeah. He had to
Slide it
resign,
Well, no, not saying bad about this, but you are very technical. I
Oh,
think we did the same thing with them.
Well, I appreciate that, but, no, it's, I mean, I'll still be involved. Don't worry, and obviously, if I'm successful, then we'll be more involved.
The issue is conflicts, it's conflicts.
Yeah.
Because he represents everybody, not just.
Right.
Including minors, and we have minors in maybe.
Can you imagine?
But that's how it is.
All right,
It's how it
so elections, congratulations, everybody.
is. Yes.
Going to 7B, Mayor Kava's findings.
Definitely. Those are the old ones.
Those are the findings
I
that,
think you're gonna do something else, or.
well, she.
She was gonna go back, I think, to the responses, and
She responded.
right.
Yeah. So she presented her findings of what she was advised,
Right,
back in December.
right.
She presented to at a town hall meeting, and Hope, so for those that don't know, this is Hope. And she had an email thread going on, in a LinkedIn group as well. And I wrote to her, thanking her, for what she's done, what she's doing, with the response to Mayor Kava's report to us. And as I mentioned, in the past, she's been lied to, Mayor Kava. And I, it's that length, I started reading, I read, I guess, half of it, the last meeting. But just so you guys can see the images, because I gave proof and evidence, item by item, why she was lied to and how she was lied to. And in fact, the items that she brought up, or that she mentioned, were issues that we had presentations of here. That was the crux of her, the points where they came from, is because we had been telling her these things. Now, what we were telling her were based on our information, our data, and our findings, and evidence. So that's how I can state that she was given false information. So that is being addressed at the county level. What's gonna come out of that? I don't know. I don't know if maybe somebody else has more information to share? If you heard anything?
No, just the email that you received when you were on your way to the commissioners meeting.
Right.
That I read to you on the phone because you were driving and I replied for you on your behalf. That's the only thing that they said, that they were meeting with all of the folks to go over all the things. So, but I'm sure that that we'll find out later.
Right, I'm replying, the following day or the day before, at the council meeting here, I had a message from my good friend of mine's wife that my friend had passed away. And it really threw me off and I've been just in the whirlwind of stuff happening. So I've been off my game, but today I started writing a proper reply, complete. I appreciate your thoughtfulness to help out with that, but now I'm adding to it. So that will be happening. I don't know if anybody's read through this at all yet. Any questions or comments?
No, I mean, it's something, it's to the point of specific items. I just hope that she actually takes the time to get back from her department specifically on where they got these results. And one of the most disappointing things for me was that all the departments said there's nothing wrong, and can't find anything.
Right.
It goes back to they don't know what they're looking for.
Right.
And I think that's something that needs to be hammered into through the mayor's office, that she needs to go back to departments and educate what they're actually going to be looking for.
Right.
At least in some of the things, no damage anywhere. That's hard to believe.
It's very frustrating, as always.
The legal challenge by the county part is. It's a shame. They can't.
It is, but it's not unexpected. It's the answer that we've received from the county over and over and over again. It's the answer the county's always given. And I think we discussed it last meeting. We appreciate the mayor's efforts, especially coming to the meeting. But at the end of the day, if there's a way for them to say, it's really, I can't do anything about it. Politicians will take that course, because then they're not failing. They're just saying, sorry, I can't do it. You gotta speak to your state representatives. And that's always been.
Well, the interaction between the commissioners was quite interesting, but at some point when Regalado was speaking and Rene Garcia turns to tell her the reason why he is doing what he's doing, he actually says, well, we should not deny all of our liability because we actually provided and gave approval to the zoning in that area. And I went, whoa, that was.
Right.
So that was.
He's taken that position, took that position the
Right.
first town hall meeting.
Well, it's the first time I've seen him side with us.
But, yeah, I mean, that's partly siding with us, but it's also partly siding with the miners too. It's sort of saying, it's sort of saying, we let you live there, but we probably should never let you live there because.
You go there.
It's like an
You allowed it.
We allowed it, which is fine, and he's right.
Yeah.
So he's saying that we knew there was really issues with allowing buildings there, we should not allow them, that's on the county, and he's right there. But it sort of also says, it sort of puts the eye in me and saying, well, the miners aren't doing anything also. So I appreciate what he's saying, I think he's on the track, but it also puts a little bit more on the miners aren't doing anything wrong, but they are.
I will share with you guys, there's a Muslim cemetery. Just north of Okeechobee. Next to Matador, Cabrera Matador.
Yep.
We get the pigs.
Yeah, pigs. Yeah.
Just like the next block south of it is a Muslim cemetery.
Yeah.
Muslim in the Muslim religion, the cemeteries are different than regular cemeteries. So for that entity to exist, that business, which is what Kava is saying, that we don't regulate this, it's a zoning. No, that's not zoning. Zoning regulates land use. So land use was allowed for the cemetery to exist. However, the county commissioners basically forced this operator of this cemetery that he had to agree not to hold any liability to the county residing in north and south of a mine. The CMEX is to the south and White Rock is to the north. So they had the foresight to know he's gonna have problems. And if he didn't sign that agreement, he wouldn't get his permit or his license.
Oh, I see that a little different, then that means that they know that there are problems, they actually agree, and by making him sign that, they literally agree that they know that perfectly well that there's that.
Exactly,
It'll be part of my email to.
exactly.
Oh, bravo.
And so that, Like I said, we're peeling this onion and there's not gonna be much left when it's done.
Where you caught
That's a
that?
good amendment.
What?
That's a good amendment piece for that business. owner, but
Yeah,
Might be.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's accurate.
it's, they're shaking bones there for sure.
No pun intended,
No pun intended.
no pun intended.
In the Muslim, and maybe some people, I don't know much of it, but what this gentleman explained to me, they don't bury it in a coffin or in a vault. They prep the body and they're buried in a linen cloth into the soil, so that you go back to nature, you decompose.
Well, I'm
Like a little
the right,
mummification,
it's very
like a little mummification.
matadero de puerco,
Yeah.
because they have a serious issue with.
No.
No, the
The
pig.
well, the
Oh,
pig is,
oh, yeah. the
dirty.
big one.
Right.
and in fact, that's how the Cid is returned to Spain, because they say they covered it with pigs and they returned it because they wouldn't even touch it. And
Right.
so that's how it's returned, so it's yeah,
It's
an interesting historical
It's interesting,
thing.
yes.
Very interesting,
I guess everything has its
Yeah.
exceptions.
yeah.
So, moving on to C, Senator Garcia's resolution. You wanna enlighten?
Yeah, so if you wanna pull up, I think it's important
Video?
just, yeah, that we have this video, it's like 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
But it's,
Absolutely.
the conversation, so Senator Garcia pulled his motion for some technical aspects, I'm not really sure exactly why, but I trust they were needed. But then made his own motion to make sure that the legislative team, we have the county's legislative team to help lobby the bill. And he also said he'll make sure to work with us to get meetings, and we're also in contact with us from the Fowler's office to make sure that happens, so hopefully both of their efforts that will happen. But there was some slight discussion on the item by Commissioner Bermudez, who actually I didn't know was a former Miami Lake resident living in Oaks.
Yeah.
And then more importantly from
Oh, I'm sorry, who was it? Who was it?
Bermudez.
Really?
Yeah, and then more importantly, Commissioner Bobby, which when you listen to her, it's the miners lobbyist 101.
Yeah.
And so I was interested and said, well, wow, she
Yeah.
really had the script down.
Yeah.
So I interested, and of course, the last financing report, it's not a ton of money, but it's the maximum contribution. CMEX gave her $1,000. I did not see CMEX in any other of the commissioner finance reports. But I didn't look that closely, honestly. But it's not shocking that CMEX is a massive multinational corporation. It's not shocking that they got her ear, gave her $1,000 donation, which they're allowed to do, of course. But then she was the only one that really put out the mining lobby 101. I don't know if the representative has seen it, but when he hears it, he's gonna say, this is what I've been dealing with for years. And I just want, it's important for us to know exactly what we're dealing with. This is what they're told. This is what every politician for is told. And they try to believe it. And right now, we're the only people trying to dispel
Her
it.
area.
Embarrass those people by getting their names with the negative connotation that they're taking, if you get an investigative reporter who would do
I
that
mean,
and make it.
I guess that we can look into the other commissioner's finances reports, but she was the only one who spoke against the item. She spoke against it. Now, she tried to say she spoke against it because of some issue before, and that this is a state-owned matter. Why are we getting into state matters? Getting into state matters because it affects the people in Miami-Dade County, which is what Senator Garcia said.
And it's recent. Did you look further back?
I didn't look further back. I only looked, it was so recent, and she was so
It's
on point with exactly what we've been fighting for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
To the T, like exactly bullet points, almost bullet points, and I just had to look.
Reputation so that their voters will keep voting for them.
I-
So if they can get embarrassed and caught out in the public view
This issue does not affect her district at all.
of.
But she's in Southwest.
Is she?
CMEX has a
Yeah,
plant
she
there.
has the other, yeah.
She's
Yes.
southwest towards like
like Turkey Point,
Yeah.
southeast or southwest?
southeast of the Day County.
Okay, so the blasting doesn't affect her. CMEX might be there, but I mean, CMEX is huge.
But there's a mine there.
There's a mine in southeast?
Yes, and they sued, same as this development. I remember, but there's a development in, oh, wow. I don't know what the name
Is
is.
it like
Well, it's
something?
Chrome Avenue ends and goes into US one. Right at that intersection there is a development of 3 manufactured homes.
Mhm.
The development is catered towards, retired veterans, so it's really kept well pristine. And it's 2 water bodies and these manufactured homes are around it. The water body embankments are rolling into the.
Isn't that the case that we went to the DCA?
They won,
All
right?
right, okay.
Okay, so that's and that's where it comes from. STI Quarry, same with what?
Got it.
Yeah, the Seminole Hotel is right there. too.
No, that's A Street. This is way south. South, like going to the Keys.
No, I don't mean the Hard Rock, I mean, there's one.
Yeah.
The
On A Street.
That's more west. I know you're saying we're
Yeah,
Chrome
I
and.
mean,
No, Chrome Wall
And
is
US
south.
one.
Down by the
Residence
residence area.
So anyway, I think it's important that we
Yeah.
play it. So it's like 5-6 minutes, just so everyone else watching.
I'll make your motion for it.
If, I would like to make a motion to direct our state legislative team to support House Bill 245 and Senate Bill 198. And I will coordinate, well, that's the motion, and I will coordinate some meetings between, the folks from PSN and our lobbying team in Tallahassee. So that's the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded by Representative Gonzalez. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed?
And I've got a question. Quick, one, just, it's the attorneys. Liability issues. Does this in any way impact the county's responsibility during this process? I lived in Miami Lakes, lived in Royal Oaks, live in Doral, understand the issue, but my concern is, will this in any way impact the liability of the county? And us as a county, that people could then, if they take action on this, impact Miami-Dade County?
Commissioner, the current state of the law is that all of the authority over monitoring blasting is preempted to the state fire marshal. And this affects what the state fire marshal does.
So it doesn't have an impact on liability, is what you told me, if I, at this moment, because the whole purpose of this is the liability aspect. There's been rock mining in Miami-Dade County since I was a kid, so that's what I remember. But the issue has always been, when I lived in Miami Lakes, and as a matter of fact, I remember there was a lawsuit. If I'm not mistaken, the future mayor of Miami Lakes, Michael Pizzi, and another gentleman, I believe it was Gonzalo Dorda, represented and had a class action lawsuit that was settled, which is way back when, which is the reason why this was taken out of the hands of the county. And it was taken to the state, so to speak. So having said that, my only concern from the county's perspective moving forward is, if, you know, because in the end, it's gonna be, can I get reimbursed for damages done to me by rock mining? And if, you know, at this point, we're really not involved. So my only concern would be, would this bill in any way, shape, or form involve, I don't know enough about the bill, but I'd like to know if you know, would it have any possibility of implying some liability to Miami-Dade County?
I don't believe this would change anything in terms of liability. As far as the county goes.
Mr. Chairman, I too don't think that the county will have liability. As a matter of fact, I think maybe we should have a little bit because we allowed the zoning to happen there, but the bill itself, it doesn't create any more liability for the state, for the county itself, my understanding.
Commissioner Regalado, you're recognized.
Thank you. And Commissioner Garcia, you brought up the point that I was going to bring up. So, you know, I brought an item to the prior board about getting involved in a litigation involving the Hemmicks. And I was told that I was going beyond, you know, our level of involvement, that historically, you know, we had stayed out of these fights for different reasons, even though I made the argument that we were being impacted in terms of property taxes. The issue with this is our chairman was just talking about, you know, preemption and being consistent and poking the bear. This one is one where there is a complete preemption. And like you said, one of the arguments that comes up when, you know, these residents, and I feel for them, they're in a difficult situation, when these residents are told, well, you came to the nuisance. The response is, the county, before the creation of the city of Miami Lakes, allowed people to build there, which is the same argument that we heard. We're gonna talk about trash in a little bit. It's gonna be so much fun. From, you know, Doral and the incinerator, but the county allowed people to build there, you know, before it became a city. So we are historically involved in this in a way. That's why I don't think that we should get involved in this. I think this is way outside, you know, the scope of what we do. Now, if there was a lawsuit and you were bringing an item, you know, for an amicus to say, look, this is impacting their property values, which is what I tried to do with the hammocks. Now, legally, there is a nexus there where you can say, look, the damage that's being done in this area, you know, impacts the county in this way. But like I said, in the past, I've been told that even that is too tenuous. So we have a pretty complex legislative agenda, and I just don't see, you know, why we're getting involved in this particular year. I mean, if you told me there was a change, something happened, right? But this bill, my understanding, comes up every single year. It is preempted by statute, and I mean, if we as a board want to die on this hill, I guess we can choose to die on this hill. I just don't know if this is the hill we want to die on, and if there is a reason for us to get involved in this. So there might be another way, you know, to support these residents. I don't necessarily think that this is the correct way to do it, because this can boomerang on us. And I don't think we know exactly, you know, even though a lot of time has passed, you know, this also has an impact on construction. This has this has unintended consequences, because if you change when and how you blast, you may end up blasting more at different times. So there's all these different things that can happen if you change the current rules, and we're not really, we haven't really been informed as to how that it will impact noise, how that will impact other people. You know, environmentally, is less blasting or smaller blasting better or worse? Those are all things that I think we should hear from Durham about, and really get information before we kind of step into this fight. I think stepping into this fight, you know, at this moment without that information would not be prudent and would not be in the best interest of all the residents of Miami-Dade County.
Chair, real quick.
Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Look, this is, I hear you, but this is a representative democracy, and I represent the constituents of this area. And this is what they're asking for, and this is why we're urging for us to get involved in the support of this legislation. That's as simple as that.
Have you moved the item?
Move the item.
I'll,
Oh, I have the motion. There was a motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Okay, the motion's been made to support bill numbers.
Bill numbers,
So tomorrow, we have a meeting with Premier Garcia. I don't know if the whole board knows, but tomorrow at 3 o'clock in his Hialeah office, we're having a meeting. Are you guys going? But, and so what I take from this, because we're gonna deal with him tomorrow, is he mentions people from PSN that are there. Who are they? No, but I mean, you are not PSN, and no, you are Miami Dade County, so I'm not sure.
I'm a
what-
PSN too.
Yeah, right, but this is the group that.
Yeah, I think he was, I'm fine with that. He
Yes,
just,
but,
you know, he just got.
so then
Just
he
be-
said, can I
He's
be
looking for-
reimbursed for damages done to my house? Seems to be the focus, or what they think is the focus
Yeah, I know.
for all of us, but I see it the other way around. I have had damage, I'm an original owner, so I've owned my house for 44 years. And so I have changed the patio elements maybe 4 times, and not until I began to hear your arguments did I realize that I was changing it, because the cracking was happening because of the blasting. I had never thought about it. So I have lived not only with the fact that I have spent the money in 4 different things, you know, but also that every time I pull a permit in order to do that work, The town of Miami Lakes sent it to Miami-Dade County. They increased the valuation of my house based on the fact that I replaced something that I've owned for 44 years and now I have to pay more real estate taxes. It's a game and I am fed up with it. And the whole idea that I am doing something that doesn't benefit everyone in Miami-Dade County. In fact, I'm allowing to be abused in order for everybody else to get a lower, price on the cost or whatever. So the whole thing is just appalling. Because you sit there and you listen to them and you go like, what language are they speaking?
Yeah, so, I mean, for Commissioner Bermudez, I don't know why he focused on liability. I guess that's just when he lived in Miami Lakes, he remembers the PC lawsuit and that's what it was. But this bill has absolutely nothing to do with liability. I mean, all this bill does is to help stop the damage now.
Exactly.
Recouping the damage is a different level that we're honestly not focused on at this point. Maybe we do become focused on.
It'll be nice.
I think the statute
Oh,
of
way down the road.
limitations is
I wouldn't say it's that far down the road. Let's see what happens this session. But yeah, we're just trying to, the representative's bill is just trying to mitigate and stop the damage now from further occurring, which I do think the two commissioners that spoke missed it there. But I think that Commissioner Regalado was just trying to, you came to nuisance X falls, PSN was there well before the Right Rock mine, right? The issue of, well, what happens if, she obviously was spoken to, but she's talking about what happens if they blast too many, blast too little. And she talks about getting Durham involved, that's the last thing, with what get involved. We talked about how long it would take for them to make a decision. But it just shows that the steps to climb, but it also shows that the asset giving is important, and the miners did try to stop it. So now it's a matter of the miners were listening, and they were actually, one of the miners' attorneys was there to speak right after me, but he decided for some reason just to defer his comment, not really sure.
Yeah, I saw that. So that's a minor.
That's a minor's lobbyist.
If there's some procedural reasoning for that, I'm
But
not
I didn't
sure.
see Commissioner
Probably because he's
Garcia doing
lobbying.
much answering too.
Probably because he's lobbying. And you cannot go before the commission or the council to lobby on behalf of your industry unless you register with.
Well,
them.
I assume he's from Holland, I assume
Oh.
he's a registered lobbyist, I'm not worried about that part. But, yeah, I mean, I agree,
He's
but.
not enthusiastic. I mean,
Yeah.
why doesn't he say something to counter some of those things that?
I think, I understand, and maybe it's something we can discuss with him, but I think part of that is because I don't think he was expecting any conversation. I think he was thrown off a little bit, so was the chair when
Yeah.
Bermudez and then Regalado wanted to speak about it. I mean, I don't know if Regalado officially put it in no vote or not, I assume she did, I don't know, I looked at the roll. But I think he was even surprised that anyone, this is usually something, all right, look, I'm asking for the legislative team to help my district on this. It's usually something that's just, okay, no problem, here, don't vote yes. It didn't happen, which I think is telling. Which I think is telling that this is important, the asset's important that they're giving us. And we need to put pressure on them through efforts like you, sending out emails, things like that. To
But
put
it was
pressure on.
the final vote. They had a motion, but it wasn't a yea or nay.
No, the vote was cast, I mean, it passed.
It was, okay.
Yeah.
What passed was only to tell the legislature,
To get the lobbying team. And
Right, but that's what we really
That's the
want.
most
That's
important
the-
thing. That's the
That was
most-
actually your motion for them
Yeah,
to.
that's the most important thing we can have because this is the lobbying team.
Yeah.
Right now. It'd be nice to have, some big time lobbyists that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars from Miami-Dade County to help us out, everybody. Not that we don't know a lot of people now, and not that our lobbying team from Miami Lakes, which is great, and know everybody as well. But if you get a actual lobbying team like Miami-Dade County lobbying team, that's a different level.
Right after the meeting, we talked, yes, it's last evening, we talked with, Miguel Diaz de la Portilla, who's heading up the American, right, the American Bond stuff, but he was also one of the commissioners involved that transferred the property, that transferred the whole issue to Tallahassee because of the lawsuits and everything else. And that's exactly what he told us. You need somebody there 24/7. Because the miners, lobbyists are there 24/7.
There you go.
And that's the only way it is, whether
But.
they take it to lunch or take whatever, and this will be
But
huge.
again, it's only huge if they actually do the work.
It actually does work,
And
correct,
we know they're not doing the work if they don't know us, because they don't know enough.
correct.
Simple as that. So, I hope they meet with us in Zoom, whatever, however we need to meet with them. I even said, let's go up there, with them. I don't care. however we need to meet with them, they don't meet with us, and it's just, you know, I try, thank you very much, so hopefully we get that pressure on.
It's I think it's a huge step,
I agree.
a single huge step. All right, so that's the resolution. Moving on, 7D. I put that on the agenda, HOAs. We had mentioned it briefly prior. And it piggybacks your marketing efforts. And I think we should formally, to move forward, to continue to get this word out with the new information that we have, the new assets, to go to the HOAs. So I would respectfully ask, if can you spearhead this? I'll present, I don't have a problem with that, but can you organize to the HOAs? The town has a list of all HOAs. Now, Josh Yegas had a good recommendation of the Moors is huge.
It's huge.
I wasn't even, it didn't dawn on me.
No.
That's a huge,
Yeah.
huge area. And I know that the community north of it is affected. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
The morning is such a big landscape that you really capture a lot at once, so.
Right.
It's a phenomenal, yeah.
So I think we should, if we can organize this, I think that'll, if you can piggyback on your video.
But, so are you asking for the town to send a list of HOAs? and-
Yeah, they had sent it to me before, so
Right, so
they have
reach
it.
out and try to schedule, still ask when their monthly meetings are, and then try to schedule, create some like schedule, okay, Miguel, these are the 3 HOAs you're going to this month.
Right.
Right, okay.
So it sounds just like trailers.
You got that?
Send her into page one.
Yeah, you had said to me before, you have it.
So, I mean, let's just, if you want to make a motion, make it clear, but I guess like timing, what months are you trying to meet, what's on right away?
Okay, yeah, I'll put a motion. The one is to reach out, for Francesca to reach out to the HOAs, organize a campaign of this. I mean, I would be willing to even want a week, you know, if you wanna, I think there was like 56 HOAs, a lot of them.
Okay,
Now, I've done,
this list of HOAs are specific to Miami Lakes, I'm assuming.
that she'll give you, yes, correct.
Okay,
But you can reach out, and the Moors is not part of Miami Lakes.
no, claro, but that's definitely.
But I've already,
It's part of country.
Country Club actually had their own advisory group for blasting years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a lady there, I don't recall her name, but she was Miguel Martinez 20 years ago.
oh my goodness. We gotta
Like
get in
it's
touch
you.
with her.
So, yeah, I think that would be very easily done and accepted. So they can get wind of what's the latest stuff, she stopped. PSN, I'm involved with
Right.
monthly, and I always present, so I'm not concerned with that.
Are there any HOAs in PSN now?
No,
No, that is.
No,
specific
Is that a
association.
specific
It's the-
association? There's
yeah.
no like big buildings or.
Right.
All single family.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's basically a community, it's not even it's not a town or anything.
No,
The single family homes, they have some in-law quarters in there.
Right, I just didn't know if it, I guess I didn't know if the Civic Association went north of, Miami Gardens.
mm-mm.
That's-
No, because then it clicks into us, the not Spanish Lake, and those are incorporated, Lakes on the Green. Yeah,
I presented at Esplanade, where I live.
Well, what I'm saying is, yeah, Miami Lakes is important, but I think if we can add requests to some of those exempt associations
yeah,
in the area, some of those associations I think will probably be more active.
I think so.
Lakes on the
Especially-
Green is the worst in my opinion, just from when I've shown property there and I drive around, the damages are
Oh,
so
it's huge.
obvious.
Huge.
I think that should be
Yeah.
a priority.
The
Yeah.
board,
I-
from my knowledge, the interaction with the board, they're difficult.
They're very
So I don't know if
difficult.
maybe things have changed or not, but
They're very, very difficult and coming from me because I'm in the real estate industry, it might not be accepted as well as if you requested to go to the, so we'll deal with Lakes on the Green separately, but
Okay.
yes, I will spearhead that. Do you want to create a subcommittee or?
I don't
It's
think it's
not
necessary.
necessary?
Not necessary.
Okay.
Just if you can just get me a list, date and time, and I'll show up and,
Okay,
you know, we could do any meeting, Manny Mo on the presentation.
The list that the town provides to you has the names of the different HOAs. Does it also tell you when it is that the HOAs meet?
I think you have.
Because the Miami Laker provides that and they meet, like some meet on the month, and the second Monday of every month, others on the second Tuesday of every month, other on the third Wednesday, you know, that kind of,
Right.
we always meet on the third Tuesday of every month, like Lena, and so that's key. To
So,
create your grade as to where.
yeah, if Francesca handles that, I trust her. I'm going. She's good with those kind of things.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Are you involved in the PS and Civic Association since you reside in Newsom?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Have you?
That's actually one of the ways we met.
Yeah.
One of the many ways.
Go visit. When is the meeting for them?
Tuesday,
It's,
no?
yeah,
The third Tuesday of every month.
Yeah.
This Tuesday?
No, because they canceled this month. It'll be next month.
And, last month was January 15th, so it'll be very new.
now the think tank, it's kind of ties in with the open discussion, I'll move it to the end. And just so you guys know, each year, I like to put it on the table, I consider us a team, and whoever has ideas, throw it out there. My wife and I always joke that out of a bad idea, we can come with a good idea, so don't be ashamed, like, no, this is a stupid idea, bring it. Because out of that, we could develop it, it's, you know, hopefully got something good, sometimes it is a bad idea, we throw it out. But, so let's move that to the end, so we can just go quickly to the other ones.
I'm sorry, before we move on to the other points, while we're talking about the HOA thing really quick, is there? I know that we briefly, got to know you that first meeting.
Yeah.
And then obviously the holidays came along and stuff, but. And I'm sorry if this has been discussed, but you know how we each have like an area where we kind of like show our strength and we help the board in this way, right? So we're tasks, specific things that, facilitate certain areas. Is there like an area that we've discussed today that maybe you can like help aid in, like, I just found out you're a resident of PSN, so I thought, oh, maybe you can.
Not top of my head.
Okay,
I got, if you guys wanna shoot an email to Lestora, let me know what some ways and, talk about it, but I don't have anything on top of my head. Any suggestions or?
We're saying to reach out to a certain community or.
no, I was just asking like,
Yeah.
Well, that is one thing that would be beneficial, right? I know you have a little bit of outreach, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know where specifically, where they're from, they're just around Miami County, but, we need outreach, basically,
Right.
to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
That's.
like even like, are you involved in a church that's in this community that's affected by the blasting? Because maybe that's.
I'm the pastor. I started a church,
Okay.
literally like 2 months ago, and I have some people there, if I can add some of my people.
But is the church here, like in Miami Lakes, PSN?
It's in, it's like I think between Miami Gardens Country Club. So it's
Oh,
around
so
the
it is
area.
affected by
Yeah.
our area,
Yeah.
by everything we're discussing
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So the people who
But
attend the
where the
church are
Walmart-
residents.
You know where the Walmart and Lowe's is? They're like somewhere else in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so people who attend your church are from this community or could be
Yeah,
from
they,
this community?
yeah, I have some people that live in the Moors, and then. Some people that live in Miami Lakes.
Okay,
So for the campaign video, right, the media video, social media.
yes,
video,
if maybe you can ask around.
Yeah, I did had, the pastor of New Dawn, Rudy, his name's Pastor Rudy. He actually reached out to me about that. I think I sent him your number.
He's on 87.
Yeah, so he reached out to you, right?
No,
No, okay. I got his number. I can send it to
Yeah.
Pastora,
Yeah,
right?
it's fine.
Yeah, so Pastor in Udon, I know he's really affected. I can ask for his number and.
If you can.
he's
give
right
me
after
his
Satori. He
contact
said he's right after Satori.
He
Yeah,
lives
yeah.
in
But-
Satori?
No, he's right after.
Is that the church?
Oh,
still?
yeah.
If I can get
Done. Right after.
Where-
Right after the
Roy
park.
Oaks,
Yeah,
Right,
but where the gala was.
the soccer park.
eight.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah,
Yeah,
it's right there. Next to,
Yeah.
next to me.
Mayor, Matter.
Mhm.
Matter, yeah.
Pero the church is
Share-
located
share
there,
the
you're saying,
Yes.
or he lives there?
No, the church is there.
Oh,
Alright,
okay.
let me know, just Francesca Durante or do it to Pastora?
I mean,
What should I do?
yeah, you can send it to Al and then she can send it to us.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if he has a number here.
But yeah, that would be a good contact, especially if he's talked about it before and he has.
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah,
Very good contact,
yeah,
very good contact to have.
Looking at the time, the blasting advisory board opinion, item number F. you got
Yeah, I
that?
mean, I discussed, I think it's gonna be fluid, maybe next one I'll provide what I think should be like the base form. What I'll do is I'll look at the last one we did. I want it to be good, so maybe we'll do something really nice, official, and I'll put it on the next agenda on the template, but it's fluid in that I, at least personally for me, depending on how the outcome of the session is, I might completely change where I believe what the board should be advising on.
Okay,
So, let's see what happens.
I got his number, so who I tend to?
Yeah.
Yeah, send that out.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm just asking everyone to think about. If we had to tell the council, this is what the town should focus on, this is like not what we want to do. Town council, you should do this. This is what we believe is going on, this is what you should do. What would be the top 3 things you say? So we're ready to discuss it at some point, so we can really get it down on paper.
How's that presented?
We would present it either at the next council report
The
or,
March one?
we'll ask to be on the.
or we can make a request to one of the council members to put on the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, and then the blasting, update blasting advisory board webpage.
I guess it's the same thing, what's going on with the town's updated website, is it up yet, or? you haven't
No, we're
tidied up?
still with the old website,
I've been here for a year and a half.
Yeah, it's like that.
Do
I
you
don't
have
have
any
any.
timing or no? I guess we gotta wait till the new website, but what I'm thinking of is,
Is it a meeting recording?
Yes.
what I'm thinking of is, update the information, get our new flyers up there. Get, make sure all the links are updated, and I guess when what new website comes up, we can talk about like the way it looks. At the very minimum, I'll take a look, or you're most familiar with the materials. Let's make sure all the materials and links we have on there work.
Yeah, there's something, if there's something
Are you right
that you
contact
guys
for you?
already foresee wanting there, you can start sending it.
I mean, let's send the
You
new
have the flyers
materials,
already.
the new flyers, we should put those on there.
Yeah.
Everything we sent you for that you printed for session, basically.
Right, we want that
You
on.
sent it.
Yeah, I just sent it to you, Aaron.
But can somebody send me this page that you guys are
It's,
talking
you
about?
go to.
Is it like a landing
find
page?
Yeah, you go to minelake.com and.
Slash-
Blasting
yeah.
issues, it's right there.
There's a committee page, there's a
Every
page
committee
for
has
each
its own
committee,
page.
if you look at our page. It'll have the list of names and.
It has the last committee report, which I think is from
Right.
2020. That's what I'm saying, right? I just want to make sure that I'll look at it, but you're aware of the materials, but for sure I think we would want the most recent material, the 2 flyers that we created,
Right.
those should be up there.
The logo.
The new logo should be up there, things like that.
And the logo should also go in our group. Yes, the logo is key.
Representing Tallahassee. Which would be good.
And
If there's anything that needs to be
I'll-
removed that's
yeah,
no
I'll-
longer relevant,
right.
we can remove it, just obviously let me know.
then I will take a
Okay.
look at that then.
And the,
Do you wanna
Right.
consolidate all the changes to one place, so that way I was not getting emails from all 3 of
So I
them?
guess how do we do that without violating that?
Right?
yeah, no, that's what I asked for, they're sent there.
I think we can send it there.
No, I understand, but like when you review the landing page and you see 2 or 3 changes, you're gonna send it to Io and then I'm gonna send my changes, like we each send it.
Oh, you wanna go in order, you mean?
I think for now, we need to just focus on, hey, this link doesn't work, here's a new link, or
Right.
make sure this presentation
It's not
material
very
is on
big,
there.
so.
And then maybe next meeting we come, it's hard for me to say redesign it because the town website's really redesigned.
Right.
So whenever that occurs, so it's hard to say, let's talk about making sure everything looks the way we want it, because it's gonna change in the next few months, hopefully. It's just a matter, I just wanna make sure links work and the new materials are up.
I
That's
sent
the
him
most
a
important
text.
thing.
to give him-
Alright, there.
Alright. So each year, at the beginning of the year, I try create a think tank. I see this group, as a team. And the strength of this group is the culmination of all of us putting our mindset together, including you guys, continue. Well, you gotta watch out with this one, those quiet ones, you gotta be careful.
Exactly.
But, so as a think tank, to come up with ideas or state your ideas, what you have for us, for the direction that we can keep traveling on, and keep reaching out. I think what we've done and what we've created is nothing short of miraculous. And I owe it to the team. I mean, this isn't me, this isn't one person, this isn't Steve, or Rudy. This is a cumulative effort. So, I will thank you guys publicly, and I'm beyond impressed and blown away with how this whole animal is running, because it's exactly that, just that. So I'll give you the opportunity as a think tank. Put your ideas down. What do you guys think? What should we do? HOA, as an example, is my idea of how to reach out, our ROI, return on investment, and an investment in our case is time. How can we be the most effective? It's been discussed ad nauseum of reaching out and extending the reach of the BAB. One of the topics that had come up is to quote unquote dumb down the literature, the information. Hope and I had a discussion one evening regarding it. I think you mistook the thought process of that. Hopefully it's been updated and corrected.
Well, because the thought process of this group has brought me to a higher level of understanding of anything. So when I heard dumb down, I go, well, I'm totally against America being dumbed down, so I had to fit over that one. But then he explained, okay.
Right, that's because you're actually listening and interested, so
Right.
we gotta put it to a level that you wanna be interested in them moving
And then
on.
number-
That's what I've been explaining, I've been working ChatGPT on my own website about.
So that's as an example. So I'll open the table to you guys, kind of have a controlled, open discussion, if you will. What are your thoughts?
I know after that meeting with Mayor Carl there at the country club, when I think that same day they had come out, the media had come out, and some of you were on camera and on site doing the part I saw on the Channel 10 gave a very good overview of the situation, and a lot of my neighbors who would not have even known or thought about this were, oh, really? They were shocked, but it reached a lot of people. And I think, as I say, whenever you can get the media involved, it's gonna help your cause, spread the message even wider than just us.
Right, yeah, we've gone from planning a 40-person bike ride to multiple times that the media's been involved. I agree that that's key. And I think now we're a little bit more focused on, at least during the session, to push and getting the assets we need, which is crucial. I think right now we gotta just be focused on that and see where it leads. But, that thought process for me personally can completely change if we don't see any progress in
Right,
this session.
agreed. And as I was mentioning, I was last week at the Miramar BAB. And they didn't meet quorum. So we converted to a discussion, which I wasn't on the agenda, so it really didn't matter to me. I was able to share with what I had to say. But what came out of it, because we were talking about the resolution with Garcia, one of the gentlemen on their committee said, can we direct the town's lobbyists, Miramar's town lobbyists, to do the same? And I'm like, absolutely. She was, and they put a motion on the table, and it was passed unanimously to present to the council, Miramar, to direct their lobbyists to do the same as the county.
Oh, bravo,
So that's huge,
Nice.
I think.
that's huge.
But we need every town
Everyone
to
is about.
do that, so.
I don't know how the round sits on it.
Do you know where their videos are? I would love to watch that council meeting or whatever meeting they have.
I don't know if
Put it
they
on
film, they record audio and they transcribe it. And well, that's true, they didn't have quorum, but I know they transcribe all the meetings. I don't know if they video them. There's no camera there. It's just audio.
You're talking about for the
Well,
block.
I know where to move now.
And for the record, so you guys know, Miramar is outside UDB boundary. So the CFO, we keep talking about the CFO, they are enforcing that official seismograph only within the UDB boundary. So West Miramar, the pilot program's recording hits of 0.7 and 0.72,
No, no.
higher than the legal limits.
Yeah, but the true roots might be getting.
Well, it's true.
Have you seen the letter?
They're in the report.
Legal is talking.
They're in the report.
My God.
So you guys know, it's bad. It's really bad.
I have an idea, for, you know, this group in Miramar. So you know how we've discussed like compiling this, let's call it like information packet, right? And we put in the time to design it, put it together and make it digestible for, you know, someone who is not very knowledgeable about the subject or people who are and want to inquire for more information. Obviously, it's branded to our, you know, committee. But what if we generalize it and take that off and make it accessible to more? So we'd be like the reputable information packet that really came from here, but it could be repurposed in other municipalities, other, you know, towns, cities, whatever, other organizations that are pushing for the same goal. Like their lobbyists can use it as a resource when they go to Tallahassee, because if the message is consistent and the delivery is consistent,
Right.
regardless of which town or which city's logo's on there, the information came from the same place.
She's my friend, remember?
So I mean, obviously, I don't know anyone at Miramar, but if we could make that recommendation, I'd be willing to repurpose it and put the Miramar logo on it and keep it going.
100%.
I think the information, the issue or the question becomes, does it matter if the logo's on it or not? You know, if the town's logo, if the town had sponsored something, it's printed, it's created, and they use it. I mean, I shared what we took to Tallahassee, I shared it with them. It has the Miami Lakes logo
Right.
all over the place. So what you're suggesting is they can take it and repurpose it.
Right, the town does not own the content, you know, so the content was put together by a group of people, subject matter experts, to illustrate the material in a way that's digestible. It's like a community resource,
Right.
regardless of Miami Lakes, Miramar, whatever. I would love to facilitate a Miramar lobbyist with that resource so that they could push the same exact messaging.
Right.
Because the consistency in messaging will increase the level of conversion of the recipient of the information. So,
So the question is,
Yeah.
can we simply send them the actual document without the logo? You know, I guess they should, to ask is it to the attorney? I mean, how does that work? The town owns it or?
How is it?
I would check first about copywriting. Because if they change something and they're using your material, you really not.
Another point.
which is why I said the information has to stay true to what it is. They can rebrand it. Think of it as, we're giving them permission to copy us. But they can't make adjustments.
But
to
how
the
do we
content.
guarantee that
How do we
we don't alter?
But,
Yeah, but what are we worried about them altering?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I guess the information is what she's trying to say,
Right, I mean,
like,
well, we would hope they're not sabotaging it.
Right.
That'd be a level of trust.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
I mean, there's no, there. I don't know where the pictures came from, the pictures are from you, so you own the copyrighted pictures, you can tell anyone you want to send
Yeah.
pictures. The text is from us, honestly, I don't think it's copyrightable anyway, we're just filling
Yeah.
out facts and information, it's really news, so it's like, you can't have a copyright on that. So, and it's all public information anyway, because it's been shared here, so anyone in the world, literally the entire world can find this document and almost do what they want with it. So why would not just share it?
But the question is then, can they remove the letterhead
Yeah.
and put their own?
They can, I mean, I guess if you actually just remove the letterhead and put your own, then yeah, maybe you have like some type of copyright violation, but does the town go file a copyright claim because Miramar wants to use our materials to help lobby?
yeah, but I can ground it for Miramar's purposes.
Francesca, you can create a template.
Yeah.
Like a week.
A template that would have no anything, just messaging.
I guess our question is, does the town believe there's anything wrong with sharing our materials for other towns to use in support of the reason we exist?
I'll ask you to send me that in an email, and like that I can show it to them directly, and they can confirm, or, you know, if there's
To
any.
send you what in an email?
That-
Permission?
The question specifically that you,
But
Why not?
why am I asking that?
because
We
you guys
wish
are
to share our assets.
And we're talking on as a board, so we should, I mean, we really want to be conservative and get the town attorney to say, yeah, no problem with that.
Right.
Then-
Okay,
And then I will say, no problem, send it to him.
So, yeah, you're having an ask that it's
I
okay
think
to
that
send a
If
town
the town
app.
attorney has an
That we
issue,
graded.
can you let me know so I can call Lorenzo
Yeah,
and ask
okay.
him why there's an issue?
okay,
Okay, I don't think there's gonna be an issue, it's just taking the conservative route to make sure we're going
right, okay.
government.
All right,
I'll put that as a board and town task. So if you can just, do you want me to do it? Want me to send an email to him?
I'll send the email.
Right,
I just, because we were removing the town's branding, I assumed it was an issue, but obviously getting that second layer of confirmation. is-
yeah, I mean, we're gonna ask the town and then just do it, then we have to get the town's approval.
all right. Any other ideas? Remember, hold your peace, another year anyway. Open discussion, or we're gonna close the discussion?
Who are we sending the changes for the site to? We send them directly to I.
All right, so.
It's really out of date.
Second,
Exciting for us.
all in
Yeah.
favor of
Eric,
adjournment?
we need a vote, which.
Oh, we got it, we got it.
Second.
I got it.
No, I mean,
Yeah, so we. All in favor?
Yes. So, thank you. Site. Like there's a site with our pictures or